I married at 19. Well, my plan for my life was to marry at 25, and I never wanted to have children. That was my plan. Now, I've been saved at 11, and I knew the Lord. I've been raised in the church, and it's so important. And our little Doreen, that gave the passion. We do need to teach the children and get that in their hearts. So many children leave the church, but I was saved. I know I was saved. God provided salvation through the blood of His Son, but it took till I was a young adult married to understand that God wanted every closet in my life. He didn't want me to have all these little secret places that He couldn't get in. So part of that was I didn't want to ever have children. And we called it rededicating back then, when I gave my heart totally to Jesus, and as a young married woman, I said, whoops, what do you want, Lord? And you know what? He just has such a sense of humor because He gave me twins. Not a couple years later, it wasn't right away, when 9 months later, but it was about 2 years later, He gave me twin daughters. What a blessing. I mean, they've been into my life. I was telling somebody they're 47 years old right now, so identical twin girls. But when they were 8 months old, I got pregnant with the next girl. And when she was 6 months old, I got pregnant with the next girl. I do know what causes that, y'all. But we actually had 6 children in 6 years. I have 4 girls and 2 boys. And the next slide, and this is what we have today. This is just family, minus about 4 people that weren't there at Christmas last year. But this is the McDonald family. This is me. I'm an exact person that can show that God has a better plan for your life than you could ever know. What's that? So when I finally gave it all to Jesus, I said, what do you want, Lord? And I prayed that we all will do that. Well, although many things happened during the childhood years, I could talk for an hour, so I'm not going to. I'll fast forward to my husband's moment. That was my moment. He lost a career position after 23 years, and he was trusting God at the time. He was doing volunteer work and stuff like that. But he joined some clubs, like after he lost his job, he joined like Christian motor. Oh, by the way, he said, God wants me to get a motorcycle. This was a long time ago. So he joined Christian motorcycle club, and they actually took a motorcycle over to Haiti to some of the pastors there. So he was getting closer and closer to the Lord. He's working with Bill Glass Ministry. I don't know if y'all have heard of Bill Glass Ministry, but years ago he went to many prisons, brought the motorcycle actually to many prisons. Actually we were in a prison last week in Florida with another ministry called the Forgiven Ministry. They take the children in, and my husband does some shows and things for them. I'll tell you about that in a minute. But after he kind of thumbed around a little bit, he came to me one day and he said, God's leading me to be a full-time missionary. And this is me. Okay. I had been praying, not that he would be a missionary, but I'd been praying for God to take hold of his life. And my goodness, it was like, okay. So I wanted to know with him. And actually, in 2004, he started his own ministry, Joe McDonald Ministry. Thanks so much. This is an illustration in my 5-minute talk that's already taken 7 minutes, about some of the traveling we've done. I could talk for 2 hours on the traveling that we've done. In 2010, we went to Mongolia. Who knows where Mongolia is? No, wait. But I was always able, I had to take a career position at the time after raising the kids, because his ministry funded all his travels, but my job funded our household. So God blessed in that way too. I worked for AT&T for 21 years and then retired. But I was always able to take vacation. On the left side here, this is kind of an illustration of what we had when we travel abroad. We have tons and tons and tons of luggage because he does magic shows and other kind of using gospel tools to teach children about the Lord. And we've had thousands of children and parents that have heard about Jesus in the last years that he's been a missionary. So this is an example of a school in Honduras. We were at these two pictures are Honduras. This is Mexico down here, just to prove that we were there. But here's the deal. One time in Thailand, he had over 500 kids in a school that heard the gospel through an interpreter. They would speak Thailandese. But anyway. On the other side is him doing things around town, and we are from Mobile. This is Tillman's Corner Baptist, St. Elmo Senior Center, people. That's Crackville on the bottom, and on the little picture over there is one of Debbie's good news clubs that she did. So he does magic trick. One more thing, and then I'll be done. The reason we got so involved, we've known each other for years, but I have a little book that I wrote called The Gospel Parade. My daughter illustrated it. I brought, like I said, one for everybody. The little version, like this, so we've taken all over in English, and then we've taken this in Spanish. We had it translated to Spanish. We've taken it all over Honduras and Mexico and other places. But anyway, my daughter illustrated it. She's a very sweet little artist, one of my 6 children. And anyway, Bill and Debbie made little shoebox floats out of each one of the float parades, and we pulled them 6 miles twice, 2 years in a row, in a parade. So by doing this and sharing the gospel, giving out tracts and little books and things like that, we were blessed to minister with them. Why we walked 6 miles twice. So my husband, during the pandemic, he built a gospel parade float. It's up there, and I wanted to show you. This is one of the panels that we put on the float directly out of the book. And so the book, The Gospel Parade, is all about a float. I mean, a little boy that dreams about a parade. And so you can go back to the float. And so we built this with all these panels on in the book. Then this is my daughter, my 4th daughter, Sarah, that did the illustrations, and she actually went to Pensacola Christian College and learned how to do all this. And so if you do want to get some books, say for Christmas presents or something, that's available on Amazon.com in softcover and hardcover. And then if you'll just leave that there for a minute.